Welcome back to the Rich Man Group. This is the track breakdown, the start of something new. So when you started this whole thing, man, give us some insight. We remember in our previous podcast, you mentioned, the Soundtrap, which is dope. Shout out to Soundtrap. The other thing was,
shout out.
right, you were looking at how did you get through navigating through that brand new app, finding different tunes to create that track. Let us have
So
that.
so on the real, so after we hooked up and we talked about this last couple of episodes ago, I was like, man, it's got to be a way because my boy that moved out to Long Beach, I'm out in the IE, and it's damn near 50 miles apart. We can't hook up like we used to do when we used to live together. So I'm thinking it's got to be a program out there where we can kind of collaborate. So I stumbled across Soundtrap, shout out, and I was messing around with a couple of the different instrumentations on there, and I just kind of threw a little something together, just based off the ear. I ain't heard, I ain't messed around with this in so long. I just threw a little something back together, and I sent it over to my boy. I'm like, yo, this is this track I put together. You know, see if you could do something with it. And we was able to collaborate. We was just pretty much just testing the waters out to see if it was even feasible at that point.
That's right.
And we put it down. I forwarded it to my boy, and I titled the track "Started Something New" because this was our very first track after we done been apart and got back together to do the thing. So I forwarded it over to my boy, and he pretty much took it from there. So
yeah.
if you want to go ahead and
I'm gonna get into it, but I want more, bro. Like seriously, like I know you got into it and you started putting things together. Was it that simple for you to just go in there and like I'm gonna pick this, I'm gonna pick this, because the song bangs a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It has a driving force. It has that energy. Like what were you looking for when you put this together? Like this ensemble of these different type of instruments, these beats.
yeah.
What were you thinking?
Honestly, man, I was playing around with this new program. I was fascinated that it had these pre-existing loops that I was able to manipulate and kind of put my own spin on. That really enticed me to move forward with putting this thing together.
That's dope.
Yeah, I mean, it started out with the break with the little drum thing popping off, and then a little bit of the chorus popping off, and you
Okay.
know, uh, when you start a loop, it kind of gives you some things that kind of go with that loop. You can mess with those, you can't mess with those. You can import your own stuff. I mean, it was just
Wow.
so many different things that I could come up with, but at the very beginning, to be honest, I was just messing around, and I came up with this track, and I felt like, hey, this is kind of, it feels like the start of something new. Again, that's how I came up with the name of the track. Obviously based off of our newly reunion,
Right.
if you
Right.
will. And then, yeah, I mean, I just kind of hodgepodge it together, if you will, and kind of, just to see if I still could do what I used to could do, because this is far different from when I used to have the EPS 16 back in the day with the keyboards, where I used to sample all the time when we used to live together,
Right. Right. I
and
was gonna ask about that too, because
yeah,
yeah, like how, like my, sorry to cut your wisdom, man, but I wanted to ask, like, so, like in contrast, looking at the way that this new app, Soundtrap, presented some of these existing loops to what you were doing before, did it kind of feel similar or no?
it kind of felt similar in the sense that where I could take a certain sound and make it my own.
I like that.
With the EPS 16, I had all these different sounds on disc that I could just kind of catalog and put together, and I kind of knew where they were, and kind of knew what kind of sound I was looking for. I knew where to find it.
That's dope. cataloging.
with this program, it's really, really dope because you can actually type in what you're looking for, and it'll kind of bring up some examples of what you could possibly use.
That's dope.
In a sense, it was a lot easier than what it used to be. You know, a minute since I've done this, and I was kind of apprehending programs like GarageBand,
Right.
News, and man, it gets mind boggling. It's like, man, I was cross-eyed just trying to figure out how to look at the manual. And, you know, with Soundtrap, man, it was so easy. You know,
That's
it just
dope.
felt good. And when I put it down together and put it all together, it was like, okay, so I'm using snippets of sounds that they're introducing to me, but it's still my own material. Once I put it together,
Yeah.
I make it my own song.
I love
And
it.
then, you know, once I hand it over to my boy, he put the signatures on it, and you know, you took over from there, basically, dog.
Hey, well, listen. So I feel like you trying to give me the lob. I appreciate that, but
I gotta give you the lob.
Hey, you did your thing though, yo. Like you really, really did your thing. And as I heard the song, like I remember he was like, yo, like log on to this app and then download this app, and then I'm gonna send you this link, and then you're gonna go in and just click this, and then I'm gonna basically it was an invitation to a collaboration for you know, to be just straightforward. And I'm relatively PC computer, you know, Apple savvy, so I was able to get to that point, and I heard it, and so just kind of sidebar, I was able to listen to it in my car on my way to work, and it's beating, and I'm like, this dude still like that. And so I one of the things that I don't know, like that I really appreciate about you, bro, like is that when you craft a song and whatever moment you're in, I feel like it's up to me to try to capture that same piece of that moment in a way of in the description of the title. So when you titled it "Start of Something New," granted, yeah, I knew this was stemmed around, hey, look, we've never done this before. We have no idea about this app. My guy's learning something new, and this is the start of something new. And so that's where the hook came from. This is the start of something new.
Yeah.
But the thing was, I tried to I hate saying it like this because it makes it seem like it's about me, but it's not about me. It's about the art. I tried to not say the same thing that everybody says. The start of something new. What's different, or more importantly, what are some of the things that are always creating something new, right? So in that, what's the start of something new, and a friendship, right? A friendship starts out. So the first verse says, we started out just being friends, saying our love would never end. That's usually how relationship starts. It's like, oh,
yeah, it's all good. Yeah,
it's
all
sappy.
Good at the first part. Yeah, for sure.
And then you know, you go through the whole sexy business piece, the tender kisses, holding hands, making all those plans, what have you. And that's where that part came from. But then also with the start of something new, there's another piece. If you look at it from a different perspective, at least the way that I was looking at it, another piece or another factor that's starting something new is that dissolution of you know, where we're going a separate way. That's the start of something new, a new emotion of things have changed. You calling me out my name, things like that. And these are actual lyrics, and you got me tripping that I don't even want to be in this anymore. So that's that whole start of something new. But bigger than all that, what actually started after the hook, because of just speaking to my dude's always relevant with what's going on in the current events. And let's go back to the title, Instrumental Health, right? So and let's be fair, Instrumental Health was not the title at the time of the start of something new.
True that.
But
True that.
but
True that.
it was relevant in the fact that you and I were always talking about, like, man, can you believe this is happening, and so forth. We understood that drugs are really like divisive, and
Yeah. They're
so
taking over the country.
exactly. So with that, and at that point when that came out, fentanyl was really big, and it was like, yo,
Really
they need to
big.
get a handle on this. So
Yep.
now I'm not a rapper, and my intention is never to be a rapper, but I wanted to be able to state something about the drugs and so forth. But all right, so I'm gonna back up. I know I'm all over the place, but in the beginning,
I gotta
come on.
ask you about that, because you know, you say you're not a rapper, but you bust out with that rap, and that because you use a whole different vibe with the rap. I mean, from you weren't singing, you went straight to the rap, but the rap is almost like you talking. It's like you explaining all these different drugs that people get addicted to. So how did that tie into the song?
I love that. Appreciate that. So the way that tied in was, in the beginning, I even said love is a gateway drug, right?
There you go.
Love causes you to do all these different things that you wouldn't do, the start of something new each time. And sometimes love causes you to drink, sometimes love causes you to use. And so that's kind of what created that thought around the
Love being a
drug and
drug.
love being a drug and that alcohol abuse. But it really ultimately is that gateway drug being love, and it causes you to be able to use maybe fentanyl, alcohol, and all these other things.
So it sounds like there's a deeper meaning to the song than just, you know, started something new. I mean,
it absolutely is.
Okay.
And that's the thing that I really dig. And I like, you know, if I go back to, 20 years ago when we were kids, everything that I wrote about was Uchi woo wee wah 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 with the girl and so forth, and my experiences, to be fair, were really hinged around that. So now, being an adult, watching my children grow and watching where we're going, and then just being at this state and just kind of seeing the state of the world, it made it different. And we wanted to touch on something way more meaningful than just man.
And I feel like and I'm not trying to jump ahead, but in this whole album, Instrumental Health, you guys are gonna find that there is a deeper meaning to each and every song that is on this album. So it really is a mental journey, if you will, because we touch on everything, and it might not be blatant, it might not be in your face. You might have to really listen to the lyrics and sit down and try to understand what we're saying. If you listen to what we're saying, then you will understand what we're saying.
Right.
But it's deeper than us just going out and la la la, sing sing sing. There's a message in each and every song that's on this album, which is why it's titled Instrumental Health, because, you know, it's instrumental to your health what we talking about.
Absolutely.
And with the instruments that we use, you know, it's kind of a play on words, but
verbs.
For me, the key being the health part. And, you know, we have another song that we'll be talking about in the next episode called The Session. It really goes deep about the mental health issue.
I'm looking forward to speaking about that one, dude. Like that,
we'll touch on that in episode 3. But yeah, just again, this was the start of something new. This is the beginning of Rich Man Group. Shout out. This is the beginning to you know, We Are One. This is the beginning to a host of different things that we are about to do. I'm so excited about it. We have the website. We discussed that as well. And the thing is, we want to join in with other artists that are trying to do the same thing. They're trying to get that voice. That's where the We Are One comes in together with Rich Man Group. And we'll touch on that later as well. I'm kind of getting off the subject of the track, but it all ties in together to instrumental health, meaning this music is really instrumental to your health.
See what? Hey, brother, may I? So, like, I love that where you were going with that, and one of the things I wanted to say was like you guys got to ride with us, right? Just ride with us and listen to where we're headed. And again, there's something in there where that's true to life right now that may be a way to help get you past something that you're dealing with, right? So like and as he alluded to earlier, we are one, right? We're all just one. And that's what Rich Man Group is about, right? This whole collaborative effort of just elevating people, elevating us as a unit, right? So that's the ultimate goal. And I'm biased, but that's what this album does. That's exactly where we've landed with that.
We both a little biased. We kind of dig what we're doing. I would really appreciate it if we had some people that also dug what we was doing and kind of understand basically where we're coming from. This is why we kind of doing this podcast to kind of break down these tracks, because I mean you can listen to the songs and be, oh yeah, that's jamming. He got some dope lyrics, but if you really listen to what we're saying, there is a message in every single song that we produce, specifically for this album. And I think moving forward, every single album that we're going to do,
I agree,
there's going to be something that is crucial, relevant, and
of value,
important.
Right.
Exactly. So we're gonna unless you got something to add, I feel like we pretty much talked about how we started the track, and I feel like starting something new is kind of, I feel like people need to listen to it and get the perspective that my homeboy was talking about with, love being a drug. You start something new, you might start a drug and end up, you start doing weed. Next thing you know, you're doing crack,
Right.
Love is the same way.
Exactly.
Love can make you do things that you don't necessarily
you would normally do. Right.
Yeah.
And you know what? And this whole thing, like you realize this is a 20-year layoff, and then all of a sudden we jump back into it and we're learning something. It was so beautiful because it was like we're learning this whole new. There was so many pieces to learn that were new. You had to learn an app that was new. You had to figure out, like, man, how does this thing plug in and my sound card work, and just that whole
the technical side of it,
evolution.
But
and so with that, we didn't quit. We kept on going and we laid something down, and you'll be able to listen, not necessarily in the order of the tracks, but you'll be able to listen and see, like, they're getting better, they're getting better, they're getting better. So anyway, that's just, I wanted to add that part to it. And
it's what you're saying. I didn't mean to cut you off, but
no, you
honestly, the start of something new, that was our first track, but that's not the first track we finished. Let's not forget that.
That's true.
We
that is so
other songs prior to that. So we already had evolved after when we first put that together. I mean, you laid it down. You had the bare bones down, but you never really got into it until later on.
That's fair. I forgot that piece. That's true.
Yeah. So to that end, I hope you guys enjoy the song. I'm gonna go ahead and play a snippet of it right now, and is out. It's about to be out. Take that back. The album's we have it's a total of 9 tracks that hopefully you guys dig and can get into and understand where we're coming from. And we will explain each and every song individually, so you kind of know our perspective on what we're talking about. And maybe when you listen to the track, you'll be like, oh, okay, I see what they're saying.
Yeah.
But enough of me talking. I'm gonna go ahead and play a little bit of the track, and then we're gonna fade on out with it.
Something new, marking the end of me and you. that we